everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving in. And with that, folks, we're going to dive in and we're going to have yet another conversation about potential free agent targets. And in this particular episode, what we're going to be talking about is the Lions bringing back a familiar face. What face am I referring to? I am talking about the Lions potentially bringing back Evan Brown. Yes, Evan Brown, the guy that used to play for us before last year as a guard and potential center option that we used quite extensively, and for a lot of people, they thought he was a pretty decent option for us. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, quite plainly obvious, we have to go with the reality of the situation. Yes, the Lions were able to get back Graham Glasgow. They signed him to a 3-year, $20 million deal. That was great. That was awesome. However, though, on the flip side of that coin, the Lions did not retain Jonah Jackson, who went and signed a big deal contract with the Los Angeles Rams. So now, the Lions are kind of a little bit in a flux period of trying to figure out what they're going to do at guard. Now, understand exactly where I'm going with this. I'm not saying that the Lions are indefinitely going to go out and get Evan Brown. I am merely presenting it as an option. I'm presenting it as an idea, as a potential, hey, maybe the Lions could go this route. Why? Well, let's understand something here. The Lions are particularly interested in a couple of things when it comes to players. They want players that, one, they know are going to fit their system, fit their culture, fit their ideology. Well, we know Evan Brown does because Evan Brown was here for 2 years with the Lions when Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes were in charge in 2021 and in 2022. So that box is already checked off. Number two, we need a guard. Evan Brown has played both guard and center. So again, that also is going to be optimal for us because it's like, hey, the guy knows how to play the position. But it also checks off yet another box because he has the versatility, like Graham Glasgow, to play at any point in the interior of that offensive line. So now, you not only have Graham Glasgow who can play guard and center in the case of an emergency, but you also have Evan Brown who can play both guard and center in the case of an emergency, which again adds even more versatility, more flexibility, more options to the Detroit Lions offensive line in case, something goes down, something goes wrong. So that to me makes a hell of a lot of sense. But then finally, we also have to understand it from this perspective. What is Evan Brown also going to be? Well, he's not exactly going to be very expensive. Again, probably a contract that is very, very similar to what Graham Glasgow got, maybe even a bit less. But the point of the matter is, what do we know about Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, particularly Brad Holmes? They want to find guys that are not going to break the bank. They want good, solid, reliable options. Evan Brown fits all of those categories to a T. He is a good, sound, reliable option, doesn't necessarily have any issues as far as I'm aware, and he fits the Lions' culture and identity down to a T. So it's like, hey, why the hell not go out and get Evan Brown? He literally checks off every single box that the Lions would look for in a free agent. Now, I will say this. The Lions do have other options on the roster if they so felt inclined to go that route. I know one name that some people have been wondering, hey, what's going on with this particular person is Colby Swordsdale. We drafted him, saw him in a couple of limited spots last year, but really didn't do anything that was all that impressive, really didn't do anything that was all that good. But he is on the roster, and he is primarily listed as a guard. So I don't know if the Lions are necessarily going to say, hey, maybe we're going to let Swordsdale compete for that spot. But I would say this. Brad Holmes did say that he was going to ensure that the offensive line stability, that the offensive line prowess was not going to be limited, that it was going to be maintained. So it's like, okay here. The Lions definitely, if they want to make sure that their offensive line remains a powerhouse unit, they want to make sure that offensive line remains in a good spot, they're definitely going to have to go out and find a left guard that can play at a high level. I believe that Evan Brown would fit that bill perfectly because it's like, hey, he fits the scheme because he knows the scheme. He already knows the playbook because he was here when Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator. So it's like, there would be absolutely no, what's the word I would be looking for? There'd be no sort of like delay in him being able to get up to speed on learning the playbook because he already knows the playbook. He knows the language. He knows what to expect. Then on top of that, like I said, he's played guard. So it's like, hey, you know what? For him, it's just getting into the position, learning it, getting used to it, that whole spiel. And then on top of that, we already know he's a culture fit because he's played for the Lions. So it's like, hey, again, it would be a perfect match made in heaven. Now, I will also say this. Could the Lions potentially go out and draft a guard? It's possible. They could do that too, because there are some pretty good guard options this year in the draft. So it's like, hey, the Lions could go that route. But if they're looking for a solid veteran option that they know is going to be a good fit here in Detroit, Evan Brown to me just makes perfect sense. And again, he's not going to cost a whole hell of a lot. So it's like, hey, he doesn't cost a whole lot. He fits. Everything just lines up. Literally, 1, 2, 3. Hey, let's make it work. Let's bring him on in. So to me, it's like, listen, I know we haven't heard any news that the Lions are potentially interested in bringing him back. Same thing with, the whole thing with Quandre Diggs being out on the free agency market. All I'm simply saying is this. The Lions definitely have a pressing need at guard right now. They definitely need to find somebody to fill Jonah Jackson's shoes. Hey, Evan Brown, a guy that was with our ball club for 2 years, knows the offense, has played guard, can play center, so he has the versatility, the flexibility you want, knows the system, is a culture fit. Detroit, do I have to really spell it out any more than just, hey, go out and make this move happen. Go out and make sure you bring him on in. To me, this would be like a perfect match made in heaven to be a marriage of, hey, you're not spending a whole lot, but you're getting a quality player. So for me, it's like, hey, you know what? I hope and pray that Brad Holmes has that guy potentially on speed dial somewhere, because it's like, hey, we know he's out there in free agency. We know he's not with the Seattle Seahawks. He's testing the waters. Bring him on back. Bring him home. Let's keep the offensive line rolling along. That's my thought process. That's my strategy. Again, not really going to take too long with this episode. It's just me spitballing, just giving a couple of ideas out there. Just decided to kind of put a quick video together and talk about it. You guys let me know what you guys think about potentially bringing in Evan Brown, or if you got somebody else in mind. Again, all I do ask is you keep it respectful. But with that being said, to everybody, I just want to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these 3 things. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past, forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and not had a chance to do so, again, please, please, please subscribe. I'm ever so thankful for every subscription that I can get my hands on. Also encourage y'all, please, to make sure you hit that bell notification icon at the bottom, so that way you never miss any more content that I push out. Again, subscription numbers are always going up, but we want to make sure you turn on the notification icon, so that way as soon as I push something back out, you guys will never miss it, and you guys can come right back in and watch it and give more comments and more dialogue and discussion with the rest of the fans. Also encourage y'all to share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can. The more we share it, the greater the channel spreads, the greater the channel grows. And with that, I just want to say to everybody again, hope y'all are having a great day. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope you got something that makes you smile today. And with that, also just want to tell everyone, God bless. Hope y'all are doing well. And until the next time we meet, I'll see y'all in the next episode.